Mary redeemed a $50,000 cash prize playing Chumba Casino online.
I was only playing for fun, so winning was a dream come true.
Chumba Casino is America's favorite free online social casino. You too could have the chance to win life-changing cash prizes. Absolutely anybody could be like Mary. Be like Mary. Log on to ChumbaCasino.com and play for free now. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details. The voice in the preceding commercial was not the actual voice of the winner.
She said that she needed me, 'cause I have no time for she. She friends say that I'm cheating, so this is the end for me. So bring the Johnny Walker, time to start over. She gone and she left me, so on to the other. So bring the Johnny Walker, time to start over. She gone and she left me, so on to the other. DJs can't be in a party to face DJ Shiva in front of everybody. Spin as you want, play as you please. But when the Undertaker come, he will crush your party. Shiva so happy, he have nobody. Ferraris to fly, so trying to catch these. Take a headshot and pass it till it's done. Take a headshot and pass it till it's done. Take a real shot and pass it when you're done. DJs can't be in a party to face DJ Shiva in front of everybody. Spin as you want, play as you please. But when the Undertaker come, he will crush your party. Shiva so happy, he have nobody. Ferraris to fly, so trying to catch these. Take a headshot and pass it till it's done. Take a headshot and pass it till it's done. Take a real shot and pass it when you're done. Take a headshot and pass it till it's done. Oh, DJ Shiva, the Undertaker.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Lyndachica, coming at you live and direct from the 6. On today's show, I'll be featuring a very multi-talented manager, producer, and DJ. I am very pleased to welcome DJ Shiva, everyone. Woo woo! Shiva, I would first off like to say thank you for being a guest on today's show. And I'm really looking forward for our listeners to get to know you better and learn more about your music career. And guys, for those of you who do not know, Shiva has been in the game for a very long time now and definitely has a lot to bring to the table. I am pleased to welcome DJ Shiva, everyone.
Well, thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you doing?
Hey, trying to keep cool with all this heat. It's been a little bit of a heat wave in the 6, so hopefully you're enjoying this wonderful. No, neither am I. No, neither am I. Neither am I. Loving it. So much better than snow, of course. Well, I think we'll just jump right into it. And
yeah, sure.
Perfect. Now, Shiva, tell us, what made you want to get into music?
I think it happened to me, and in the mid '80s, early '80s. It's just influence in Trinidad, my neighborhood, from my uncles and stuff. My mom's brothers, they were all into music. My dad's cousins and stuff, they were DJs back in Trinidad. I was a little kid though. I was, I don't know, maybe 8, 9, 10, something like that. And I remember I was being really fascinated with those guys when they were spinning records back then, whether it was a New Year's Eve or All Year's Night, as I say, in Trinidad, party at the house. And I was fascinated with just that because of the influence around me. And I remember what I used to do was I had a toy truck, and I had a old like box, like a cardboard box that a heater, iron-in heater would come in, and I would strap it onto the truck, my toy truck, and pretend it was like a truck on the road. I took my sister's pom-pom things that looked like microphones, like loudspeakers, and I would stick it all over the box to make it look like a DJ truck. So it's been in me since I was like 8, 7, whatever, like back then.
Wow.
So it's not something where maybe I should try DJing. It was just music was in me naturally. My dad sings, my grandfather sings, my cousin produces. It's just all around me.
Okay. Well, that's really interesting. And I mean, carnival is such a big thing in Trinidad. So you definitely started at a very young age.
Yeah. I remember being in primary school in Trinidad and being really fascinated with, for carnival time, it was always artists coming to school and stuff, and watching all that and being fascinated with it and playing mass locally in my town and stuff. Yeah.
Now, how did you actually get into the music industry?
Oh, man. Well, again, it started with DJing. So move forward to Canada. So I had a friend who lived with my family. His name was Ricky. He was a family friend. Okay. He never really became a DJ, but he had equipment. Okay. So he would stay in our basement, and I used to always go down there and fiddle around with him. So that led to buying, records, one turntable, not even DJ like quality, but just stuff. And it started from there. I just started collecting vinyl.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, that
was around 1989.
Okay, cool. Because I mean, now it's pretty much all digital. We've definitely changed the game with all the digital stuff.
Everybody argues. I mean, even I benefit from the digital now too. It's just less work.
Right.
But there's a pro and a con to that, to both, because now every DJ kind of sounds the same. And in the early 90s, when you had to have vinyl, you had to really, a 12-inch record would have an instrumental, it would have an acapella, and it would have the track, and maybe a remix. And so as a DJ, you would buy that now, and you would have to figure out how to manually fuse that together as you're DJing live. So when you're doing remixes live, you can't loop something on the spot digitally anymore. Whatever the record runs out, it runs out. So how you would extend that is you would buy 2 of the same record.
Oh,
so
wow.
Most of the people from back in they would have 2 of the same records, so you could go back and forth and extend the song as long as you want, or have the instrumental run in as long as you want. But with that came the skill of speed and precision and being able to do that quickly and feel that quickly and not sound horrible. So that's when only very few were good, and many who tried just gave up in no time. Now it tells you the BPM, you line it up according to BPM per minute, and a lot of you just use a sync button. There's a sync button that exists on Serato. You press sync, and as long as you press the 2 songs at the same time on the beat, it'll keep it on beat for you. So now you have to find new ways to be creative.
I can also see a cost factor with that too, having to buy 2 records of each.
Yeah, a 12-inch back then was like $12.99 or $10.99. So you have to buy 2 of those, and you have to travel to the record store to buy that. So for me, it was every Thursday. New records would always come into the stores every Thursday. So I would live in Scarborough at the time, so I would take the subway to downtown Toronto to play the records. Or a couple of the record stores as well in Scarborough. And, you get the new stuff, and sometimes you could buy 5 records at a time because you couldn't get everything new. It was too much money. So you have to pick the top ones that you really want. And they would be sold out. So you have to get there quickly. Wow. So you drive on the subway with 5 records. And that's why now and from that, actually, I'll show you something here. If you can see, from back then to now, speaking of vinyl, and I have more in closets. But
oh my goodness. That is, all records. Wow.
It's all DJ'd from, like you look at everything, and then the torn edges is because they were used. It's not just for show. These are all the records. These are all the records that ripped up Club Connections and Hut 2 and all the clubs downtown back in the day. Okay. 5 record at the club.
That is some impressive collection.
And these are turntables back then, right? So this is real stuff.
Now, what is that one track that you can always go to that will get the party going?
Well, that depends with what genre you're talking. You're talking a Caribbean party? You're talking a downtown party? A top 40 party? A bougie party?
Let's switch it up a bit. Let's do a bougie party. Let's switch it up a bit. Let's do a bougie party.
Downtown Toronto. Probably something like to get everybody on the floor. A lot of Bruno Mars, and Uptown Funk and things like that. Even though it's older right now.
Right.
Uptown, Uptown. That's a mainstream song. A cheerleader still. You start vibes in and grooving the party with that, and that's like the equivalent to playing "Pump Me Up" in a soca party.
Okay. Awesome.
To set the mood.
True. And on that same tip, can you actually describe your DJ selection set process? Let's say for a soca party.
Yeah. I only play, a lot of DJs, what they do is they like to play all the songs. So they choose, and that to me is very boring. So, and a lot of songs come in rhythms, where they have 5 songs in the same rhythm. Like the Toco Loco, that's there's 6 songs or 5 songs in a rhythm. I just played 2 out of that. So I created my own thing. I like to call it impact mixing, meaning that there's nothing that I play is going to be boring at all. Every song people should relate to. It should be in your face constantly. So it's just pure vibes. And there's enough music to do that. So, and that's how I put together my thing.
Your sets. And guys, I do need to say it as is. I've seen him play many, many events, whether they were at clubs, whether they were on boat cruises, or whether they were at New Year's Eve jams. And one thing that I always notice, nobody sits down. It doesn't matter if you're 2 years old or you're 202 years old. You are dancing the entire night away. So these are facts, guys.
There's definitely a way to bridge the gap with old and new, old and young, people.
Right.
A lot of DJs don't know how to do that as yet. They just play by BPMs. And I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just saying I see it. And I guess when it comes natural to me like that, you go to a party, you're naturally going to go find what you can do. But everybody has their own way of doing things, right? So I'm not going to bang on. That's what separates everyone.
It's true. It's so true. Now, there are tons of amazing DJs in the industry with mad skills. What does it take to make an excellent DJ?
A combination of things. Obviously, skill level, but a lot of people get something mixed up. It depends. Well, when you say that, are you talking about a competition DJ or are you talking about a club DJ?
Club DJ.
Right. So as terms of obviously competition. Competition, clearly, long story short, you have to put a lot of time into your skill in terms of technicality and cutting records up and being able to be a human computer, right? For a club, a lot of people, also with the fans or the people that go to clubs now, it's different than the 90s. So people today, I find they just want to hear the songs they like. So it's up to you to do that and put it together properly. Yes, you need to have skills. It's so ironic the way life has changed because you need to have enough skills, but the number one thing is you need to be able to read the crowd and basically know exactly what they want before they want it.
Yeah, I believe it. Keep the crowd going.
And there's a way to do that as well, but you have to, when I'm DJing, I'm 15 steps ahead, I already know this song, okay, I'm going to run this set here. I already know after this, I'm going to transition to reggae this way. And from there, I'm going to transition into house this way. And when you listen to some of my mixes, you'll notice I played 2 hours and I didn't stop anywhere. And the music has completely changed from slow to fast to medium, but you don't even know where it happened.
And what I noticed about your DJ skills is you play all genres too. You mix it up and it definitely is geared towards everybody. It's not just one ethnicity or one age group. It's for everyone.
Yeah.
And that takes mad skills. Honestly.
Yeah, it's just, there's certain music from every genre that will appeal to everyone and it's your job to figure that out. A lot of DJs still don't know how to do that.
Well, that definitely comes with years of experience, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. What other unique skills do you bring to the table that sort of sets you apart from everyone else?
I think it would have to be, again, it would have to go with the crowd, knowing exactly how to take a crowd from 0 to 100 in 2 minutes.
Because it's true. A lot of guys can't do that. a lot of guys
No.
end up losing the crowd, and we just sort of stand around looking at each other.
And being able to keep the crowd there now for the next 4 hours.
True.
Sometimes you have to know when the crowd is actually, you're giving them too much and they're getting tired. It's a psychological game. Now you have to give them a second to breathe. So now you have to know when to dip the music, even though it's in the middle of the night. Dip it, make them have a drink, let them go to the bathroom, and then you come back with something crushing that you know they're craving. And that's how you keep the night going.
Yeah. I've experienced it. So I could say those are facts, my friend. 1000%. Now, what do you love most about being a DJ?
I guess it goes back again, crowd reaction.
Okay.
It's like DJing if you DJ in a club and it's empty, it's like, yeah, you can make songs, but it's no vibe. So it takes two to tango, right? So it's me, the DJing. I don't want to use the word controlling the crowd because I don't like to feel like I'm controlling anybody, but giving the crowd what they want and watching their reaction and just like, cause their energy now motivates me and gives me that energy to keep going. And it's like adrenaline. It's an adrenaline that you create for each other, the crowd and the DJ. So there's nothing like that feeling in the world of like crushing a song or a set and the crowd is just giving you that energy and you're just taking it and giving it back.
I've never heard it explained like that before, but I can actually visualize it. So it's awesome. Okay, cool. Now, in your career, again, I've watched you play at tons of amazing events. And I've actually watched you play some really big events, SOS Carnival Kingdom, all that good stuff. Tell us about some of your favorite events and what makes them so great that they're up there.
Oh man, I go back to the 90s. There's the events that I've done, some of my favorites that don't exist anymore. So you're going to go back to the 90s, like the, shout out DJ Riyadh. The Times Square events, Caravana Sunday. That was one of the epic ones I used to look forward to. Nice. Me and Big Rich, aka FBM. The FBM jams from the 90s. Club Connections from the 90s. Every Saturday was just a movie. Back then, you could get 1,000 people in a club just with DJs. You didn't need no artists. You didn't need nothing. Everybody was out. Everybody was well dressed, and it was just really about partying. There was no social media, nothing. So I think people, all that energy now was pent up from the week. You couldn't go on social media and do any nonsense. You had to go to the club and just let it all go. So it was vibes. That was the 90s. So I would say the FBM jams in the 90s, Times Square Caravana Sunday, Soca Riv in the 90s, early 2000s, at Palazzo. Those were like epic. Yeah. And, those are ones that stick out to me. Recently, I would say, what do I like doing? I love doing the SOS Island Mix Boat Cruise. We started it in 2007. Okay. It was actually my cruise to begin with. The guys from the boys from Island Mix, Kamal, one of the owners, him and I went to high school together. We're actually friends from the early 90s. Okay. So when I came up with that idea, we did it as 4 partners. It continued. I dropped out as a partner, not because of any problems. I had other things going on and I told them I was dropping out, but we all agreed that I stayed out as a DJ for every single one. So if you notice, I've been on every single Island Mix boat ride from 2007 till today. And that cruise, I love it up to this day because it's the crowd that grew with us from then to now. And there's some younger folks coming back now too, because it's good vibes. It's like, and that's the kind of cruise, even though it's a soca oriented or Western oriented, I can play house music and I can play top 40 and that crowd, they go with it. So that's one of the ones that I love the most right now. Okay. Caravana Weekend, I don't DJ much anymore because I'm always with Ravi B and handling his stuff. Right. So I end up being his DJ when he's not with his band. And that's just doing his tracks. So to me, it's fun. I get the energy off him and the crowd, obviously. And we run with it. And when I'm done. And then the younger guys take over now, right? DJ wise. I could do it still, but, I've been a resident DJ at, CC Lounge downtown for the last 5 years. Okay. I used to play Wednesday, Thursday. I used to play Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. Mix and Match is now one of the resident DJs. He's now doing the Saturdays. And I do whenever I want to, pretty much. But I love that. That's my number one now at this time because it's a crowd that's mature it's not a senior citizen crowd, but it's not a teenager crowd. It's it's a business, young professional crowd.
Okay,
and
yeah.
It's a crowd that can identify with 80s music, but it can also identify with trap music right now. But,
I didn't see that one coming. Like, that's a really broad spectrum. Interesting.
So that's what I like about that. And, what I love about DJing there compared to the West Indian parties now, that has changed in the West Indian scene, is that nowadays, if you notice the parties everywhere, there's 15, 20 DJs.
Yes.
I like to build up, and people don't realize this, but the crowd actually suffers for that, because when you have that, that's why I stayed away from West Indian events. Personally, as a DJ, I went more towards downtown, because I would start DJing at 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I'm going till 2:30 by myself.
Wow.
I'm not on the mic. I'm not screaming. I'm not doing anything. I'm just DJing.
Okay.
So this is where you get to be a real club DJ and handle the crowd from 10. It's rammed at 12 o'clock, and you get that energy and you go crazy from 12 to 2:30 till they're ready to leave. And that's how you know, like, you still got it. And that's what I like to feel, because you get to groove it in. You get to bring it down, and one person with one mind is reading that one crowd for the night. What happens in the West Indian scene, unfortunately, and I'm not knocking it, is that when you have 20 DJs in a night, within 4 hours to play, or 2 hours actually, because the party doesn't really get going till 12, till 3 hours. Now you got the top few DJs trying to outdo each other, and they all want to smash the party. So you find them, there's no longer a groovy part, or where the people get to experience something different. Everybody's playing the same hits. Everybody's playing the same mixes. Everybody's trying to hype it up everybody has that one go-to song if they're flopping to go back to, that every friggin' DJ will do. So it's kind of like, this is boring. I don't need to do that anymore. And I can still go in that set, and I can still step in that setting and still crush it, but it's just not, it's not fun for me to do there and play 20 minutes, and then you have 20 minutes to do what you got to do and leave. I like to call it impact DJ, and it takes a lot, because everyone's trying to outdo everybody. But here's the problem. Now the DJs are playing for DJs, and the crowd's just sitting there half the time, sometimes like, what's going on?
That's interesting.
Unfortunately, there's only one reason for that. People do 10,000 DJs in a party in the West Indian scene. It's just because the DJs are no longer DJs. They're also promoters.
Right.
So the promoter's expecting every DJ to sell 10, 20, 30 tickets to pack out their party. And I'm of the sentiment, and I've always said, if you hire me to DJ, I'm going to promote your party maybe on my social media. I'm not going to sell you one ticket. I'm not going anywhere to sell one ticket, because that's not what I do. You're the promoter. You promote, you sell your event. Right. And I'll do my part and give you my 2 cents, but I'm not going to go, if it's convenient and you want me to hold a 10 ticket because somebody's coming to pick it up because you can't be around, I'll do that for you. And I'll push your event, but I'll direct people towards your website, towards you handle all of that. I'll do my little, but I'm not, going to be actively chasing people down individually to sell them and push tickets. That to me, that just kind of like, that's very belittling to the DJ. It's like, and a lot of DJs get on today because that's what they do.
Most DJs actually do that. Yeah.
They buy themselves into the party. And that's how you end up with subpar DJs that are very good at selling tickets. So you're not really a DJ, you're a salesman. That's what you are.
Ouch. Yeah.
So I'd rather be downtown, where I don't have to worry about that. The place is already packed. And I do what I got to do.
True. Okay. At least now I know where to find you, because I don't see you at other events except, these hyped up boat cruises, special events like the New Year's. I like it that way. Yeah. Okay. Good to know. Now, I've seen you play all over North America, from here to Florida and back. I think one of my favorite events that you do is Miami Carnival Mangoes on a Sunday. That's always an amazing event. You always do an amazing set. Where is the one spot that you love playing the most?
I love Miami. It's like my second home. So Mangoes is on top of that list for sure. Shout out DJ Rude Boy for putting up that crazy event.
Yep.
He's amazing as a DJ and as a promoter, the way he handles us. So shout out Rude Boy. I've DJed, the Soca Rave in Miami. It's not called Soca Rave. It's called Rave in Miami back in the day. So shout out, Dave and Sean. So that was crazy. Those are epic. Whenever you travel, it's always epic. But, I would say in terms of besides Toronto, which has, I love DJing in New York. It is nothing like, for people make fun of New York sometimes. Some people, whatever you want to call it, but Queens, New York, and the whole New York vibe is just a vibe. And I used to be on Bacchanal Radio back in 08, 09, 010, all those years. And I was I was the second DJ on Bacchanal Radio? Yeah. And I traveled with their events, the Bacchanal in New York, the Bacchanal on Water, and all that. So DJing in New York for those times, the last time I DJed this year, 2020, was for Rum Shop Chronicles. He had an event in New York, and I was with Fire Blazing and
yes. I remember
Tricky. Shout out Tricky.
Yeah,
I'm forgetting the crew here now, but everybody from here and the Toronto bunch of guys and I think Vibe, and then some New York guys. Shout out DJ Rara and Speedy. But that crowd, New York, really gives you feedback. They love their stuff. So when you play out there, it kind of feels like, I don't know how to explain that. So I would just have to say New York, different venues in New York, but New York City is like really fun to play at. I
find it's a vibe. That's the best way to describe it. And, I'm not trying to knock Toronto, but we have more of a laid back type of vibe in the party scene. I find that in New York, it's hype. Like, I'm looking around and they're hype. Yeah. They're hype.
Yeah. I think I don't want to get too much into that, but I think because even though Toronto has a big West End, and if we're talking Caribbean for a second,
right,
we don't have a Queens.
No, we don't.
Scarborough's not a Queens. Brampton's not a Queens.
Not Queens, no.
So what happened is I'll tell you the number one reason why.
Okay.
All the West Indians in Toronto are spread out.
Yes,
through the GTA, from downtown to Brampton to Ajax to Scarborough. And different people go to different things.
Yes.
And in Queens, you go into Queens, the happening clubs, everybody's living on a block, living a couple blocks away, living in Richmond Hill. So it's a family community vibe.
Yeah.
So they have that. It's like little Guyana, little Trinidad. We don't have that in Canada.
It's true.
And that's why.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. But also, I find that we have a lot more venues compared to the handful that I can start calling the handful that they have in Queens. So we have it more spread out, but we also do have a lot more venues than they do.
Yeah, so that's true. No, that's the reason why, because you're right. Some people go to District, some people go to Twilight on a Saturday. Some people go into
Tropical,
the spots in the West, So it's all, that's why, right?
We have those options. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, after doing so many shows over the years, what keeps you motivated and what inspires you still in the industry? Because you've been doing it for some time now.
Yeah, since I was like 16, 15. I was DJing nightclubs before I was allowed to go in a club.
Wow.
One of the first clubs I DJed was a club called 360 in Scarborough by Victoria Park and Eglinton. They're going back now.
Wow.
360. And I DJed there before I was allowed to be in there.
Wow. I didn't even know that they had a club there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you can research it. 360 in Scarborough. You'll find out about it. Yeah.
Okay.
And so what motivates me? Honestly, just the love of music. The love of music. And now I'm transitioning. I know I'm rolling with Ravi.
Right.
And production side. So it's kind of changed for me. I'm not hounding down playing clubs every weekend. I actually don't like to play clubs every weekend. To me, it's tiring. Maybe I'm getting older, whatever. But I like that I do it like a variety of things. So I enjoy rolling with Ravi and DJing for him, giving him input on his music, production side of things, Big Rich, all that. So I enjoy that, more than being like a club DJ every weekend. But again, music is obviously in me. So music, as long as I'm alive, I think music will be driving me.
That makes complete sense. Now, you play all genres of music. What would you say is your favorite and why?
You're going to laugh.
No.
My top favorite genre. Okay, my favorite genre to listen to.
Yes.
If I'm driving my car or if I'm chilling or and if I could get away playing my dream is to get a hold of a party that likes it as well so I can play it.
Okay.
It's 80s. It's 80s retro pop music, new wave music. So my favorite artist in the world, nobody knows, is Phil Collins.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went to see Phil Collins last year in concert. That would be my favorite. Of course, the regulars, not the regulars, but the big ones like Michael Jackson and Madonna and this and that. But I like Phil Collins. He's my favorite. And that whole genre, we could go down forever. And then my other favorite genre of music is classic soca. So classic calypso. So 80s, Baron and Mighty Duke and Sparrow and Less Than Paul and stuff like that. So I love all the new stuff, but I guess I'm an old soul, so I still love that. And my tied with second would be classic house, deep house music.
Okay.
From the late 80s into the early 90s. Those are my favorite things. If I can find a party where the crowd is like me, I'll be in heaven. And they will be in heaven too, because I could get in.
You know, we had a club that played it all, Government, back in the day.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I can't even think of anywhere that will play these types of tracks anymore.
No. And, to touch on something too, though, like, you mentioned the crowd. I don't know when we asked this, but when you asked this was, the crowd back in the day would pay attention to DJ mixing. So you had to be really skilled. So, and if you mess up, they would know.
Oh, yeah.
And they would, today, yes, DJ crowd plays attention to DJs, but they pay attention more to the songs they're playing, not to the mixing. Yeah. So if a DJ can somewhat blend music averagely, as long as they play the right music, the crowd's happy now. So the expectation's lower, which just kind of sucks if you purist as a DJ. But because now it's like anything else. It's like it seems like the world is being focused is all about simple minds now. So and people's attention span is not there anymore. People don't pay attention to what the DJ. I've seen it. I've watched a DJ play before me at a party, and he went crazy with scratching and I can appreciate it what he was doing. He was scratching things and remixing live and running an acapella on a beat on the spot. He was going off.
Right.
And the crowd was kind of bored. They were having a drink. They weren't even paying attention to anything he was doing. I went on and I played the song they liked, and it mashed up the whole place. So the crowd is not really. They say they were DJs, but they're not these. They don't really want a DJ. They just want a guy or a girl that plays the hits they like.
Do you think it's almost like a dying art form since vinyl has become, less prominent in the industry, and since it's gone so digital, is it almost a bit of a dying art form?
100%. It's
Ouch.
done.
Ouch.
It's dead.
Yikes. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So now that's why I said everybody sounds the same, because everybody finds the hits.
Right.
And they just play it and they can blend average, and everybody's grooving and partying and drinking, and they think, so that's no longer DJing. That's just someone playing music. Well,
I've been learning to sort of mix things on Serrano, and quite honestly, the button does the work. I'm not trying to bash the industry. I am no DJ. I am not trying to be a DJ. I just want to just sort of mix my own tracks and sort of make my own mixtapes for my music.
Yeah.
And what I'm learning is it's not that technical as it seems.
I use Serato now because that's just how you get your music now. But I make sure, and I never use the sync button. I make sure that's off, because I like with my music, I'm playing live and I have to actually mix it live and put work into it. Two things happen. The crowd feels it more, because if somehow they feel it more, it doesn't sound generic. And for me, it's more, I have to work. So and it keeps my attention.
You want to keep it authentic too, to yourself.
That's it. It. And I find by doing that, I actually sound different to other guys. You definitely
stand out. I mean, I could say it as is. I've been partying since I knew what the word party meant. And I mean, years and years of seeing so many DJs, so many different events, whether it was a West Indian event, whether it was a Euro event, whether it was a freestyle event. I've been to everything. So that is something that I do notice myself. It's not something that everyone is paying attention to. They're just sort of hyped. They're just enjoying the music. All they want to hear is what is actually being played. Mm-hmm. But if you do listen, you will hear who knows how to mix and who has no clue what they're doing, even if they're using that sync button in Serrano.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna say it as is.
I know. They're just about my guy people. I know.
All right. Now, on a different topic, we did touch upon Ravi B a couple times in the whole Karma band. Mm-hmm. Tell us about your experience managing Karma. And for our listeners who's not familiar with Karma, tell us a bit about their band and all that good stuff.
Ravi B and Karma. So basically, I got involved with them around 09, 08. And it happened because of Big Rich, who's family to me. Me and Rich have been rolling together, rocking together since the 90s. The 90s with FBM, First Party Music cassettes. So Rich started producing Ravi. I think one of the first songs he did was, first big one was Dolari. The only time I feel welcome. Rich wrote that song.
Family,
yes. He gave it to Ravi. We produced it at 09. And then, Ravi then wanted somebody, to manage the band, and Rich basically suggested Shiva, and I knew nothing about managing any band in Toronto.
Oh wow!
So what happened? No, nothing. I was just thrown into the Lions Den.
Wow.
So what I did was I spoke to the idea was to help them out one time, and then that was it. And then there's other people that were supposed to take over. That was the deal. And they came up here. That was the year for a drink in 2010. Right after he won the Monarch, Karma came to Toronto. They had their Easter show. And I was involved in that show in terms of helping them market it, promote it, things like that. And then what had happened was after that show, the other guys were supposed to take it and run with it. And Anil, Ravi's older brother, who owned Karma at the time, it was actually his band. He said he not talking to nobody. He ain't dealing with nobody but me because he just loved the way it happened. And he doesn't care who's who. And they were calling him directly and stuff and trying to get the band to do things. And they were like, listen, unless Shiva called me, I ain't talking to nobody. I was kind of forced upon it, forced to do that. It turned into real friendship and real brotherhood and real family and all that. And now I don't do it to make money it's more friendship now than anything else. I mean, they do give me money. Sometimes I don't want it, but they insist. But it's not what I do it for. So me and Ravi end up being like brothers. We sat down and discussed a new genre of music, which we came up with in New York a while ago. And the first song of that genre is Start Over.
Okay.
Second song is Headshot, and the third song is the one that just released, Crackers. Deal with that. So it's not. We don't consider those chutney soca.
It's a little bit different. It has a very different sound to it. I mean, it's very different.
Yeah,
so what genre is this then?
It's our own genre. We created our own genre. It's under the Ravi B brand. It's called iPop.
iPop.
Meaning
it has
Indian
a very
popular.
Different flow.
Meaning Indian popular. So if you go right now and you look at his latest release on YouTube, Deal With That.
Yeah.
And look at the heading. You'll notice in brackets, it says iPop, not chutney soca. So we are no longer you remember the days of, everybody saying, boy, them artists using Indian melodies and blah, blah, blah. That whole fight. We're like, you know what? We don't need permission. Music is for everybody in the world. And we're like, so what we did was we came up with our own recipe and our own genre. So everyone's like, boy, that's not what you're singing. It's not chutney soca. That's not real chutney. And you know what? You're right. It's not. It's what we do. So all the other artists, you guys can do what you want with chutney soca, whatever you want. We own lane.
Right.
We're not part of your lane. We have our own lane that we created for ourselves. So we have our recipe for that music, and that's why it sounds different.
Definitely sounds different, but it's also been well received and very well receptive for the fans. They love it.
Yeah, well, that's because of the ingredients.
Okay.
The recipe, which I can't tell you, it's a secret recipe.
That's okay.
It's like a KFC recipe.
The
You'll never know.
Secret recipe. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a secret to it. I can't tell you what it is.
Well, whatever is in that recipe mix, it's working because, I mean, the fans love it. It's definitely well received. And everyone, since Headshot came out, everyone noticed the vibe was definitely very different. It sounds different.
Well, yeah. All the young people are back on it.
That's it. That's it right there. Cause there's no longer a disconnect. It's like you brought everybody back together. Very cool.
I mean, it just shows in his views, right? 4 million views on YouTube, thousands of comments. And we go through that stuff. We pay attention and we look at who's viewing and we look at who's commented and we notice the age group and everything. We pay attention to all the stats. And that's how we do our music. But listen, I give Ravi ideas. We discuss things, but I will not take more credit than I deserve. He produces his own music. His brother produces his beats. Another professor does his mixing and mastering. But you'd be shocked to know that Ravi plays all his own music, all those songs.
Wow. He
actually plays his own keyboards, his own tones, he sits down and does it himself. So he does 95% of the work. And Ravi always asks me, he always thinks I'm the best manager ever. And he's so happy to have me in his life. And I'm like, listen, bro, thank you, but you could only manage something if you have a product to work with. Like someone could give me the worst artist in the world and I could do whatever I want. I can't get nowhere. I go, you are the talent and you are the one that possessed that he can produce, he can write, he can sing, a different thing. So, that's why he's so successful and he's up to the times with trends. He knows what's going on. When everybody was laughing at his lizard on his head, when everybody was laughing at, we get, you get a lot of local, but here's the funny thing. You get a lot of local people in the West Indies, but we're Ravi Green, but what kind of, but you know what? When we walk downtown Toronto on Nathan Phillips Square, we walk down, Manhattan at Times Square and then NYPD cops and regular white folks and little kids are like, oh my God, that's so cool. Can we take a picture with you? It's basically crossing borders and we're lifting the glass ceiling and we don't pay attention to the criticizers or the haters, like as they say. We just ignore that stuff and we just do what we have to do. We do it boldly. And eventually we keep it forward. We just keep it positive. Karma is super talented the band members have changed throughout the years. Ravi's very intricate when it comes to his members. He chooses them wisely. They have to, the drummer is one of the best in Trinidad and Tobago. It's a multicultural band. A drummer is Black Trinidadian. A keyboardist is Black Trinidadian. The other keyboardist is Joey from New York. He's Indian. The bass is Dogla. His right-hand singer, Abby, is a Black Trini. Then Nisha B is his sister. So he doesn't care about race, creed, culture, nothing. He looks for talent. And it's crazy. So he'll be doing a Diwali Nagar concert in Trinidad or singing bhajans and the musicians are the same. The talent is what speaks, to him. So that's why Karma is, maybe people might say I'm being biased, but that's why Karma sounds like the HD or the Marshall of Stratby Soca because the attention to the little things is there from him. He doesn't just throw together a banner and there we go. He's picky with that stuff. He's just like how Marshall is. He's very close friends with Marshall, so he picks up a lot of Marshall, looks up to Marshall. He picks up a lot of Marshall traits in terms of being a perfectionist.
Right.
He doesn't settle for, he's just a chutney band. No. His band must sound like HD, must sound like Kes, must sound on that league, and that's why his band is the one band in Trinidad touring at all the big carnival events. It's HD, it's Kes the band, it's Karma.
And that is exactly it, because I mean, with his shows, it's a different level. It's definitely on a different level than the regular artists. And the one thing I do appreciate the most is he has no problem mixing in 80s tracks here and there. I have never to date. Now that that's why I'm bringing it up. I'm trying to make the connection here because.
Where do you think it came from?
Now we know. Everyone, listeners, you heard it first.
I'll give you a secret. When he did Headshot and he sent the instrumental to me, he goes, listen carefully to the music. He goes, you're hearing them 80s tones you keep talking about? You're hearing the 80s melody? It's in there.
Yeah.
And 80s melodies is some of the best music and melodic music of any generation. So when you fuse that with modern day stuff, you get something very different.
It's true. Okay. And
that's one of the ingredients.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not trying to steal all the secrets. I'm just cluing
there's many more. There's some other artists that try it as well, but it's not just, you just can't take anything. You have to know how to execute it. And that's what people can't replicate.
Okay. Well, guys, we're hearing all these ingredients one by one slowly being shared here on today's interview. On that same note with Karma, I know you guys do shows all around the world. How has this whole COVID situation affected you directly? And you want to talk a little bit about it? Like how are you guys handling everything?
Obviously a negative impact in terms of the actual gigs financially.
Right.
Ravi's lost a lot of money this year. Thank God he's somebody that knows how to save his money. But so other than that, I won't obviously get into the figures, but Headshot being a huge, I think is one of his biggest songs. Every time he comes out with a monster, it basically means more shows, right?
Right.
More gigs, more of everything, more value. So he has this big monster song that he cannot capitalize on anymore.
Okay.
So this whole year just kind of went to waste financially, but musically it'll live on forever, right? Which is also good. And for me, DJing wise, there's no gigs. Absolutely no CC Lounge, no boat cruise. Triple T's boat ride. Sorry, I forget Triple T's. That's one of my favorite. I've recently started doing that one.
Yes.
And it's epic. Triple T's, big up Dave. Triple T's, big up Avenue. Brandon, like I DJ'd some of Avenues. I was looking forward. He had, Avenue had Marcus Williams from Trinidad. He had me and I think Anna and to DJ one boat. Just the three of us. I was so excited because it was only 3 DJs. So we were going to be able to do like play properly, each one of us.
Mm-hmm.
So that was going to be exciting, and that got canceled, obviously. And then Dave's boat rides, Triple T's boat rides. Those are also my top 5 right now, along with Isla Mix, that I basically got canceled. So those, for me, yes, the money, it's good to have, but for me, it was just like, it bothers me because I'm on the tail end of my career, so to speak, with DJing. So it's like every summer I have that I could go out and do it, I really appreciate it because I'm still able to do it. So basically COVID took away this whole summer. That was going to be epic for me. And I hate to sound selfish, but that's time that you can't get back.
It's not. You're not getting this back.
No. And so I feel cheated that way. And Ravi, Headshot, same thing. But in terms of him, he's taking it in stride. He's been working. He's stuck in Florida, by the way. He's not in Trinidad. So he's been in Florida for 3 months plus. And basically, well, for him, it was a negative financially, but then he turned it into a positive by reflecting. He's never had a break in over 10 years at all. Like, I see this guy, I'm surprised he doesn't end up in a hospital. People don't understand. There's no sleep involved. So, he's finally got a chance to sleep. He's finally got a chance to exercise and take care of his health. And he's finally had a chance to sit down and listen to music and produce music and write music in a peaceful way. So that's the positive to this all. And hence you end up with this latest song, Deal With That, which is a monster.
It's another banger adding to the list, which is awesome. Good.
And he didn't save it. He released it. I mean, because technically he can't make no money off it, because he can't perform it.
Right.
So he just released it anyways, right? So Headshot and Deal With That gone down like financially, no gain except for online sales and YouTube and things like that.
Fingers crossed. I mean, our numbers have been reducing significantly, but we don't know what the future holds, right?
I know.
Now, here's an interesting question for you, Shiva. I know you're very big into politics.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
I know that for sure. You got a lot to say when it comes to politics. I'm curious to know your thoughts on Kanye's 2020 campaign.
Okay, that's cool. A lot of people take Kanye West for a joke, and I can understand why. Okay. But Kanye West is a lot smarter than everybody thinks.
Of course.
And he knows what he's talking about, and people these days, they think with emotions and they don't think with their minds, unfortunately. They don't sit down and really think about what's going on. You know, for me, I am not one way. Like if you look at my social media stuff now, you think I'm one way all the time. But there was a time that I liked Justin Trudeau. There was a time that I liked Obama. There's a time that I regret saying it now, but I mean, I voted for Trudeau. But what I'm trying to get at is that I don't have a one-track mind. So I could like you today in your politics, and if I see what you do, I don't agree with it, I'm willing to change. And a lot of people, especially West Indian people, they're not willing to do that.
Right.
They're like, oh no, his father let my family in the country back in the 50s, so I'm going to vote for him forever. And I always tell them, I'm like, well, listen, that's the same kind of thing you ran away from in Guyana and Trinidad and both those countries, because that's our backgrounds. It's like, long story short, if you keep thinking like that, you came to this place because of all the way it was, first world, and you had great opportunities. You're going to turn it into the place you left if you keep doing that. And then the politicians are very smart. They can catch on to who support they have blindly. And then they'll take your vote, but they won't give you anything for it. So you have to make them work for your vote. And that's that's on that. But to go back to Kanye West, I think, well, he's a Trump supporter, and I know why. That's a whole different conversation.
Right. But
without getting into all of that, I'm also a Trump supporter. I know everybody's going to be upset right now, but whatever. And that's
you're very vocal about that. Yes, you're very vocal about that. Yeah.
And that's a whole other conversation again, because I think with my brains and not my emotions, but that's beside the point. And the thing is, I look at a lot of numbers, right? Stats and economy, and those are the things that matter to me. My wallet, not my emotions, when it comes to who's running my business and my affairs. And that's why I like Trump, long story short. But anyways, when it comes to, stock market, those reasons, those kinds of things, taxes, blah, blah, blah. Everyone says, in Canada, how does that affect you? Trust me, it affects you. What happens in America affects the world. So, and, Kanye West, I personally think, I think it's kind of clever. I think it might be an in thing. I don't know this for fact, obviously, because I don't know these guys personally. Right. But I think it's a little ploy to get Trump reelected.
Because they're on the same team.
They're on the same team. I think Kanye's doing that. He's going to take a bunch of votes away from Joe Biden, and then a Republican will win. And
then he's going to say, "Oh, guys, dropping out." Right back to Trump.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a ploy. And I like the ploy.
Okay.
Trump 2020. Yeah.
That's what it basically boils down to, Trump 2020.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I like how you circled that right back around.
I should be part of his campaign. He just doesn't notice it. He needs to meet me.
Well, yeah. Maybe you're going to add that to your long list of skills as well. Now, tell our listeners, what is the most appealing thing about a career in music?
People's, obviously, the most appealing thing is, you can be a producer and you could really just be one of those guys that enjoy producing. Yeah. And you don't care about the crowd, like Big Rich. He doesn't go to any events. He sits in his studio for 3 months and just drinks coconut water and produces like crazy. And, he loves that. He loves that side of it. There's going to be somebody like Ravi B who also does that. Obviously he loves performing live. That's the best part. As a DJ, again, being able to perform live. So it would be like different reasons, but I think it all boils down to, typically in music, it's something people do because they love it. So you're doing something when it comes to music, whether it's a producer, a DJ, an artist, a singer, you're generally doing something that your heart's in. It's not like a 9 to 5. It's not something like, oh God, I did do this again. Oh my God. Right. I did like a job, regular job. You're like, oh, I do this again.
I wake up again.
I wake up again. So I would say the number one reason is, generally people that like involved in music in one way or the other is because they really love it. Music is something you have to love. You can't wake up one day and decide you want to do music because it's a good career alone. If your passion's not there, your music is not coming out.
That's true.
The music will suffer.
That is
and your career. True. You will have no career.
You'll have no career. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we all know that the music game is one of the toughest games out there. It is not easy what these guys are doing. From making the music to selling the music to performing the music. This is a tough game.
So you better love it.
So you better love it. Exactly. Yeah. Now, what is one of the common mistakes that people experience failing in the industry or giving up? Like, what are some of the reasons that happens?
Well, obviously it would be because your stuff's not taking traction, right? Like, and the mistakes a lot of people make is because you have passion for music, a lot of people, they make the music and they're so excited to get it to people's ears because for passion,
right?
That they forget all the marketing and all the promoting, all the groundwork that's involved in doing that. You get lost in the crowd. So the number one thing is do your homework, take your time, never rush your releases, never rush that. Always pay attention to your stats and do your research in terms of demographics, in terms of where this will appeal. And basically, I know it's exciting. As soon as you finish producing it, mix it, master it, you play it for one or two friends, you're like, oh my God, now you just want to upload on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you don't have those subscribers, it makes no sense. Or sometimes you can be lucky and you don't have those subscribers, but it really hits one thing and it goes viral, right? But that's like true. Anything. There's that, those like Gangnam style, right? So, you could get lucky, but chances are that's like winning the lottery, being lucky like that. So even if you have good material, you have to get a following behind you and you have to get support.
Okay.
So today, obviously, online is the way to do that and be genuine about it. And I always say keep your politics out of music. I know a lot of people today do because if you've already made it, you can say whatever you want. But if you try to make it, don't get your politics involved.
Okay.
Because there's two sides to that.
Well, you're actually hurting yourself if no one agrees with you. You're shooting 100%. Yourself in the foot. Yeah. Why do you want to shoot yourself in the foot?
And DJs, music, it is a tough game. Yeah. And you should have a backup. And people say, a lot of people who say, well, if you have a backup, you're already destined to fail. That sounds nice, but the fact of the matter is you really should have a backup.
Well, look what happened with COVID. No events are happening. So what are you going to do? Just sit around?
Thankfully, yeah. So you have to I have a backup. I have a business. Ravi has business as well. Nobody knows about it. He owns a bunch of stuff in Trinidad. He owns stuff in Florida that's going on. And you need to have that when it comes to music. Why do you think Jay-Z and everybody, even as big as they are in the millions they make, they turn out Yeezys and sneakers and this and businesses? Because music is only going to do so much. You know what I mean? So even as a DJ, like I know some guys that actually just DJ. And they think this is a real career, and it is, and it's great side hustle money. It's full-time money, literally. But you never know when it's going to stop or end or what's going to change. So you need to have something else going on. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble.
1,000%. On that same notation, what advice would you give someone wanting a career as a DJ?
My advice is exactly what I just said. Have a backup. Yeah. And do it for the music. And you have to be humble, stay away from politics, and build your following. Start with family and friends. You need to sell out your events. You need to show that you're worth. Unfortunately, like I'm complaining about, but unfortunately, in today's society, you can be the best DJ in the world with no following, and it doesn't matter. You won't get anywhere. So it's all about support. So it's sad that it's not just talent anymore. So learn how to evolve with the game. I choose not to because I have other things going on.
Right.
But for other people, if this is what you really, really want and you're really willing to put in that work, you have to learn how to evolve with the game. And that involves you getting followers and supporters and followers that, like there's some people I know on Instagram with 40,000 followers, right? Mm-hmm. But if they post something on Instagram that they're having an event, nobody will show up. That's not real followers.
Right. That's not
real
support.
Some people like Ravi B, he has star power. He has that power to say something and he still get a fair amount of people show up, even with his social media. That's real pull. So learn the difference with that.
Right. Absolutely.
It's not just about numbers. It's about if there really is supporters or not.
It's true. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who do not know, guys, DJ Shiva has an amazing car collection. He collects Ferraris. Can you tell us a bit about your collection? Because it's definitely very impressive.
Thank you. Cars to me, long story short, cars to me, started again in the 80s in Trinidad. Okay. My mom's brothers. They were younger. They did well for themselves in the early 80s. And I remember they all bought brand new cars back then in Trinidad at a time when a lot of people couldn't afford brand new cars. And I was around that as a kid. So, my uncles used to put me in the car and take me for drives all the time when they go to visit their girlfriends at the time. They were like 20, 19. I was a kid, right? So, and I would go with them to visit their little girlfriends or whatever and just go for a ride. And I was so obsessed with cars that even when they put the cars at home, I used to steal the keys and go sit inside and pretend I was driving for hours and nobody could find me. And I watched Kit Knight Rider back in the 80s in Trinidad and Cannonball Run, which I shouldn't be watching at that age because it was two hot girls with the chest out and stuff. Definitely older than I should be watching, but they would drive a Lamborghini Countach in that movie in the 80s. And back then you're looking at a Lamborghini Countach and you're thinking this thing looks insane compared to everything else. So I used to pray every single night, and I actually prayed, and I would say the word Lamborghini Countach and in my prayer. I need to have this. So I eventually in Canada, I'm one of those people that if I see something, it sounds kind of cocky, I'm sorry to say, but if I see something like a car, if I go to a car show and I see it, and I don't even know the price, but if I want it, it's going to be mine. I'm resourceful. So I make sure and I find ways to accomplish what I want, my childhood dreams. That's how the car thing came about. I love cars, not for balling purposes, not for going downtown and flossing, not for, if you notice, you don't see my stuff at events.
No, never.
I have a different set of group of friends for this because, first of all, it's events, people are drunk. I've had stuff happen to them before, so I don't want that to happen again. But it's really just for you people don't see this, but I sit in my garage with one buddy and we'll be surrounded and we just look at curves and lines and talk mechanics and talk stats and talk history and where Ferrari, like Enzo Ferrari, how he started and his history and this one and Honda and Formula One titles. And so for me, it's very much about that. So it's a true passion. Like some people are connoisseur of wine.
Right.
I'm a connoisseur of cars. So Ferraris, I was up to not seven Ferraris. So here's the thing though. I want to make clear. I'm not just into exotic cars. I'm into every kind of car. Like I will see a Acura, a 1999 Acura Integra Type R white with red interior with championship white, with the color and I will go crazy because I know what that car was about when it came out, what it was for. So I'm like, oh my God, is that a freaking Integra? Like the Type R that's so rare now? Or the MR2, or I look at an old RX-7 and be like, holy shit. So even though I have cooler stuff in my garage. So I was up to 7 cars. I had a 370Z. I had the Acura NSX. I had the RX-7. And I sold those 3 because I had 7 and I could only fit 4 cars in my garage.
Wow. So
I'm down to a classic Ferrari 355, a new Ferrari 458 Italia, a Lamborghini Gallardo, and an Audi R8. And that's what I have right now. And my next purchase is going to be something different that I've never really used to, but it's going to be the 2022 Z06 Corvette C8. It's an exotic car. It's going to be an exotic car. It's going to be a beast. So I'm on the line right now. I put a deposit for the waiting list, so I'm sitting there waiting.
Cool. Wow. Hey, that's something good to wait for.
Yeah. So I'm a car nut. I'm a car geek. I'm a nerd.
Connoisseur has a better ring to it. Just casually throwing that out there.
Car what was it?
Connoisseur.
Oh yeah.
Connoisseur has a nicer ring to it.
Those IT guys, or you see the movies, and there's always the geeky guy doing like stuff for the FBI or the CIA and the computer. I'm that guy with the car.
Awesome.
I'm totally not like the hip hop videos balling in my Lamborghini. And I absolutely, hey, more power to them if that's what it's about. To me, Ferrari is not a status symbol to me. It's the sound, it's the passion, it's Formula One racing, it's the history, it's Italian pride. I'm not Italian, but whatever. Yeah. So it's the culture of it that I love.
For sure.
The camaraderie with guys that are in a coffee time parking lot talking cars. Like I don't care to be balling and try to holler at girls. Like, one more thing. If anybody really wants to buy a Ferrari or Lamborghini for the sole reason of picking up girls, it doesn't work.
Enlighten me, please.
It does not work. It does not impress women. They look, yes, you can tell they look when you drive by Yorkville or something. They appreciate it. Yeah. You can't come by your car and automatically think you get her number. It's not going to work. You need to have a personality. Girls are not that shallow, guys. Maybe in the 80s when things were a little different, I think girls were more receptive to those things, the early 90s. In today's society, girls do not care. If anything, they're either just as successful, so it doesn't bother them. They just generally don't care. Or it can be intimidating sometimes, and they just like, who does he think he is? Whatever, he's not getting me. Whatever the reasons are, whatever psychological reason it is, it's not how you're gonna get your girl.
Well,
it's not gonna work.
Well, guys, you heard it first.
One more thing. But the one card
for all of you guys.
Yeah, and if it is one card that girls I've noticed just like they love 99% out of the time, it's not your $400,000 Ferrari, it's not your Lamborghini, it's an Audi R8.
I believe
white Audi R8. That's the car that 9 out of 10 females that I've met they've looked at my garage and they didn't give a damn about no Ferrari. They walk right up to the R8, which is half the price, and they don't care.
I believe it.
That's the one they want. So if you want to try and use a car for picking up girls, go for the Audi R8 and make sure it's white.
Yeah, but the Audi R8, there's a prestigious factor about it. It has that class about it.
It is. I'm not knocking it because I have one and I love it, but it's not, you're not settling by any means, but it's like an Audi R8 brand new is 240 grand, 50 grand.
Right.
Compared to that Ferrari's 400,000, right? Right. So it's still considered in the supercar level. It's still an exotic, but it's not on the higher end of it. It's on more of the entry level of it. So it is prestigious. Don't get me wrong. When you see it, so that's just to show you guys, girls are not looking at a lot of women out there, and I shouldn't say all, but a lot, and most women, I think, do not care about your financial status. They do not care about that. They like what they like. If they love it, they look at the R8, it's sexy to them, so it appeals to them because that's what they like. Has nothing to do with what my Ferrari's worth 500 grand. They don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So women are not that shallow. You have to have a personality.
Guys, just saying, your lives just keep getting harder and harder with that girl. Just throwing that casually out there. Now, with the whole COVID situation, I mean, we really don't know what is coming our way in the next couple of months. Do you have any other projects or upcoming events that you'd like to share with our listeners?
I'm supposed to be DJing something for SOS. They have something possibly coming up in the next couple of weeks, but I don't want to say now because I'm not sure if it's going to pull through, but they have an outdoor patio thing where you have to social distance. They're going to try something. Okay. So stay tuned. It might be around July 19th.
Okay.
So it's got my social media for that.
Yeah.
Everybody, as for planning things, we're all in 2021 mode right now. 2020 is a write-off for all of us. We're not even trying to do anything.
Okay.
So we're into 2021 summer.
Okay.
Mentally. Yeah.
Okay. We're planning for next year. Yeah. We're already in that mode. Okay, that's true. We're just gonna ride out the rest of the year and pray for better things.
Speaking of cars, see? My buddy gave me this poster for a reason. This is all 80s supercars, see?
Wow, you're not even joking. Not even joking.
Right next to Ravi.
Yeah. And your mixing board for your DJ stuff.
And Michael Jordan. And everything's here.
Okay.
Yeah. New school, old school, records. Yeah.
Everything that you like. Okay. Super. Yeah. And now, when I was prepping for the show, I noticed you had a really good social media presence with Facebook, Instagram. Where else can our listeners connect with you online?
I have a SoundCloud. It's Beats by Shiva.
Okay.
And if you go to SoundCloud and you just search Beats by Shiva, you'll find my mixes. I have a lot of cool live mixes up there, and that's some of my original actual productions. And I don't really promote it as much. I don't know why, but it's, and I have the pro package too. So if you're on your laptop or computer, you can download my mixes, I think, for free.
Yes, you can. Yeah. I actually checked out one of your mixes, a Euro mix. Yeah. I was completely shook when I saw that. I just remembered 2005 being at Palazzo. Like, that's
there you go.
Where that mix took me back. So,
I tried to upload a lot of my DJ Shiva mixes from the 90s, mix ones that I did back in the day. I'm going to get them from Mix for You, and I get permission, and because they have bought them all from me, right?
Okay.
So I have to ask for permission and try to put my own stuff up. I can't just put it up.
Right.
So
all the copyright stuff. How it goes.
Yeah. So then I want to put that stuff back up and, my Beats by Shiva, SoundCloud. I even Mixcloud. I think it's Beats by Shiva or DJ Shiva. I can't remember.
Okay.
But I'm on Mixcloud, but Mixcloud and SoundCloud from my music. And my Instagram is DJ Shiva1. And that's it. I think that's the ones I focus on.
Now, I'm sure you have a ton of fans listening out there, Shiva, from the years and years you've been in the industry. Tell them, what's next for you?
Focused on business. I'm just a businessman outside of music. Okay. I have a lot of things going on with business. And in terms of music, I have something going on, a whole different name, a whole different everything. And I can't even say nothing about it right now, unfortunately.
Okay, that's okay.
But you won't even, if it works out the way it works out, you won't even know it's Shiva. So that's kind of weird to explain, I know.
It's a mystery.
But I'm focused on electronic music a lot.
Okay.
Because I love house. So I produce a lot of that stuff. I have a whole different DJ name, a whole different persona. I don't use my face. I use a mask. Yeah.
Okay.
So and I don't even bring it across the DJ Shiva world because I don't want none of it mixing. It has its own social media presence. It has its own Instagram presence, its own everything presence. So when and if that blows up the way I want it to, eventually I'll take the mask off and you'll know who it'll be me. The reason why I did it is because I'm entering a young man's game and I'm older now.
Right.
So with the mask on, I become ageless and I become timeless. So you have to you're basically liking my brand, which is the mask and the music. You're not liking a person. It's like Deadmau5 or Marshmallow and those guys.
Yes.
I don't know. So I'm trying to be one of them. So
in the EDM world.
Yeah.
Wow. Possibly another Avicii on the market
I hope so. God, I wish, but I hope so. We're working on it. You know, I've been on that circle, big up, the Hammer from Z103, follows me on Instagram. If you look at when I look at my stories on Instagram, you'd be surprised of all the verified EDM DJs and stuff that watch my stuff. Sam Felt, for example, he's one of those people that I look up to and I play his music downtown and he watches my stuff. So it's pretty crazy. So somehow, somewhere, my social media stuff is getting to certain people. So we'll see where it goes.
Wow. Well, best of luck with that because that is definitely super cool and not going to lie to you, completely at left field. Literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey.
Ravi knows about it. He loves it. And, we're trying to play Sunburn in India. If my thing works out the way I expect it to, I hope to play Sunburn Festival in India, which is Ultra Music Festival, which is like all the big EDM DJs in India. And that's where I plan to bring out Ravi B to India.
Wow.
On stage with me.
Okay.
He will be my hype man.
Well then.
So we'll see where it goes. We have all those things on the go.
Okay. Wow. No, that is extremely exciting.
Yeah.
Well, Shiva, as we wrap up our interview today, what message do you have for your fans out there?
It's kind of weird for me to think I have fans, but I guess I have supporters and followers from the 90s, different age groups. Some of them are probably married now, kids, moved on, family life. I can only imagine. Thank you guys so much for coming to the events, from Connections to Calypso Hut to CC Lounge to Island Mix Boat Cruise to Triple T's Boat Ride to Miami, to New York, Bacchanal Radio family. Everybody, thank you for showing me love and coming out to the events and having a great time. And I hope I will continue to do this as long as you guys allow me to do it. That
was definitely very insightful. I was really looking forward to connecting with you because I knew this interview would be extremely, extremely full of jam-packed with information.
Yeah.
Because, I know.
And I'm sure we can go on for hours. Believe you me, there's a lot more.
I believe this is sort of scratching the surface with you. Because, you have so much experience and you bring so much to the table with everything that you've done with the producing, with managing Karma, and now the EDM.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, expose it too much, but definitely very exciting right now. all we can do is sort of hope that we can get back to normalcy in the next year, because all of these things really depend on being able to perform, being able to have concerts, being able just to be able to travel.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
It's crazy. Oh, and to everyone, be safe.
Yep.
Take it seriously. We're not, you know how I think about it? I know we're in a lot better shape than the US right now.
Right.
In terms of COVID numbers and stuff.
Yep.
But listen, don't get fooled by that. Don't get complacent, because, the way I see it is, unless there is a real vaccine or real medication that becomes available, I know stuff's going to come either this year or early next year. Mm-hmm. Until that happens, do not let your guard down. Act as if this is the first week, because, you can get sick. And, look, imagine the world right now, all of COVID went away. Let's just imagine that for a second. And two people was left with it. All it takes is the same two people to fly on a plane to New York and give it to 5 people. Yeah. So just because our numbers are down, we're never really out of the, I hate to sound like I'm fear mongering, but the truth is, we can't be out of it, because I'm one of those people, like, I try not to let the fear control me. So I live like normal, but I do my part, you know, and you guys should continue that. Don't get complacent and feel like it's not going to happen to you, because it can, and this thing could go away and come back in 2 seconds. So until the vaccine's here, just, it's a different world.
I mean, they are getting closer to it. So that's all we can basically do is hope.
I have faith. I think I think stuff's almost there. I think it's just in the human trials now. So it's making sure whatever they have is not going to kill you. So, so fingers crossed.
Which is the right step in the right direction.
Yeah. Better safe than sorry.
That's it.
And let's social distance in the meantime, and wear the mask, and, you know, wash our hands.
Well, it's mandatory now in the 6. You can't be in any indoor space unless you're wearing a mask. So,
but can you drive your car without a mask? Can you walk on the sidewalk without a mask?
Anything outside is perfectly fine without a mask, but any indoor space.
Well, I'm not going inside anywhere anyways. I'm good. No. I'm only in my car, my house, my backyard, and on the sidewalk.
So based on that, you don't need any masks. You're good. Thank you, Shiva. It was a pleasure having you on my show. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to connect with us. Definitely, that was an awesome interview. You know, you're a wealth of knowledge, and I learned so much myself. And guys, that pretty much wraps up our show for today. And I'm going to be leaving you with one of DJ Shiva's awesome mixes. And guess what? It's Euro, baby. We talked about it earlier. I've always been in love with Euro freestyle music, house music. I mean, that's the white girl in me. So,
yeah.
I mean, the 80s, I'm an 80s baby. So this is what we kind of grew up on growing up here in Toronto. I was pleasantly surprised seeing this on your SoundCloud. So definitely need to share this with the world. And hopefully, guys, you're tuning in next week's show. I will have another amazing DJ from right here in the 6, DJ Tricky. Everyone,
big up, DJ Tricky. That's one of my boys. He always has my back.
Yes.
When I was he grabbed the mic for me, and we went in. So it was good. It was good teamwork. Shout out Tricky.
Hopefully, you guys will be tuning in, and that's a wrap, folks.
Hey, shout out to you too, Linda.
Thank you, Shiva. Appreciate it.
Lyndachica, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
And in the words of Ravi B, Bono!
Playing the best in electronic dance music, Shiva.